Let's talk about the gut-brain axis. You know, if you look at this, there's talks about microbiome to protect from anxiety, to decrease depression, to decrease suicide levels even. I mean, what are your thoughts about that? Are there toxins being released from the bad gut?
You know, I was nervous before my talk today, and I had butterflies in my stomach. You know, so that's your gut-brain axis
No
at work.
question.
So
Yeah.
it's there's an obvious relationship there, in terms of whether it translates into, you know, a mechanism for managing anxiety, depression. And the use of probiotics in that arena, it's definitely a hot topic.
Certainly works in animal models.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's exactly the point.
Yeah.
It works in animal models, but we have to see the translation yet.
Sure.
And I feel like I'm harping on, but it'll come down to then having a specific mechanism and a specific strain.
Yeah. I'm always fascinated by my early GI professors would tell me that 90% of the fibers in the vagus nerve are taking information to the brain, only 10% coming out of the brain. So clearly the vagus, or the central nervous system, is listening to all these input from the whole GI tract.
Exactly.
And then taking it back to the brain and then making some sense of it and then sending it back. We know, you know, the work by John Alberti, who shows within 30 minutes of a major injury, the flora start to change. They become aggressive, become more pathogenic. So you could argue that, you know, it would very easily change in the animal model. So what are your thoughts?
I think that's such a new area that is really fascinating to me. I certainly could use more information on that. But it does make me think about even, you know, our military folks that suffer from PTSD and what kind of roles could probiotics potentially play in that population.
The military is very interested in this whole concept.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's DOD RFAs out that's a Department of Defense is asking the question, can we regulate GI tract? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think you could have predicted that someone would eventually get around to talking about gut-brain axis, because if you look at germ-free animals, in other words, born, raised, no microbes whatsoever, they're not completely normal.
Right.
And they look normal, but they have very deficient stress responses. The nervous innervation from brain to gut is not the same as an animal colonized. And we already know there's such a thing as a gut-brain axis because the words you just used there, we say sick with fright, butterflies in my tummy, these are all terms in daily parlance. So we all know there's a gut-brain axis, and we know that it's hardwired through the vagus nerve and softwired through hormones. It's then another leap to say there's a gut-brain microbe axis, but the evidence is very strong in animal models that is the case.
Right.
That what one is colonized does seem to influence satiety.
Yeah.
The kind of things we eat.
Sure.
And there are lots of examples in nature where bacteria or parasites influence the behavior of the host that's carrying those, influence the behavior in a way that suits the bug.
Right.
Whether that happens in humans are far more complicated than animal models, of course, and I'm sure it happens to some degree, but it may be diluted by a lot of things. We've coping skills that animals don't have.
Social
We've a lot of other
interaction,
things that dilute that. But probably the best way to protect yourself from any adverse gut-brain dialogue is to make sure your microbiota is good and diverse and healthy.
Yeah.